Sri Aurobindo, Mira is my refuge. Om Anandamayi, Chaitanyamayi, Satyamayi, Parame. Namaste, Vande Matram, good evening, welcome all of you. Today we will discuss on a very important topic, the most essential topic, that is on divinization. So the topic of this evening's spiritual discussion is on divinization. So before going for divinization, the term is coming, the essential term it is coming on divine. So let me take a couple of examples on divine. What is divine? Then we will go for the divinization. Okay, one or two examples we will take on divinization. A direct descent of the divine can alone divinize the human receptacle. A descent of the divine can alone divinize the human receptacles. So this is the definition of divinization. So before going for the divinization, the topic, everywhere anyway, the major topic, the central topic will be the divine. So few examples, few lines will quote from Sri Aurobindo on what is divine, then we will go for divinization of nature. Sri Aurobindo quotes here the divine. What is the beautiful line, one very short definition as per Sri Aurobindo will see. The supreme truth or being is divine. Divine, the supreme truth or being, that is divine. Second aspect we will go and another definitions from Sri Aurobindo will take on divine. The supreme being from whom all have come. Sri Aurobindo quoting what is divine. The supreme being from whom all have come, and in whom, from whom all have come, in whom all are. In its supreme truth, the divine is absolute and infinity, peace, consciousness, existence, power, and delight. Very brief definition, very important definition, to the point to point definition Sri Aurobindo has quoted on the divine. The divine is the supreme being from which all has come. The supreme being from which all have come, and in whom all are. So from whom all have come, in whom all are. In its supreme truth, the divine is absolute and infinity peace, consciousness, existence, power, and delight. In its supreme truth, the divine is absolute and infinity peace, consciousness, existence, power, and delight. This is the brief definition Sri Aurobindo has given on divine. So another 2 or 3 lines we will read from Sri Aurobindo's definitions on the divine. Why divine is essential? What is the major purpose of the divine? As Sri Aurobindo quotes, the divine alone is our object. The divine alone is our object for the spiritual seekers, the people who are pursuing this integral yoga, who are in this path of this evolutionary process. The divine is all for him. Without the divine, for a spiritual seeker, nothing is more important, nothing finds its place. So only divine for the spiritual purpose. For those who wish to lead the spiritual life, the divine must come always the first. There is no other go. Everything else must be secondary. Everything will come later. The divine can lead. He does not drive. Though the purpose, the work of the divine, the function of the divine is to lead, then he is not to drive. His permanent thing is that he is to lead. Lead means he has to stand in the front. This spark, the mother is the consciousness and force of the divine. In the other terms, is the divine conscious and conscious force, consciousness and force. In another definition, mother quotes here, the divine name, which is what we adore in Sri Aurobindo. So clear definition here, whom we adore is the divine mother, is the conscious force of the consciousness and force of the divine. So as per this the topic, the definition of the topic on the discussion we are going to do on divinization. Sri Aurobindo quotes what is the divinization. Descent of the divine can alone divinize the human receptacle. So for the divinization of this human receptacle, the descent of the divine is the most essential condition, and he has to come back, he has to manifest, he has to descend. Then next definition, Sri Aurobindo, next quotation is there from Sri Aurobindo. This divinization of the nature is a metamorphosis. This divinization of the nature is a metamorphosis, a change from falsehood of our ignorant nature into the full truth of the God nature. This is the metamorphosis, this is the golden change Sri Aurobindo speaks of. I will try to quote it again for the better understanding and for our better clarity of regional clarity. This divinization of the nature is a metamorphosis, a change from falsehood of our ignorant nature. Falsehood of our ignorant nature, there must be changed into the truth of the God nature. Then beautiful example, the last example on divinization Sri Aurobindo quotes here. Only those who live in a supreme truth consciousness, only those who live in a supreme truth consciousness and embody it are inwardly made or else remade in the divine image. Just imagine how this divinization will come. What is the purpose? What is the process? Here in the quotes here, only those who live in the divine supreme truth consciousness, those who live in the supreme truth consciousness and embody it, this supreme truth consciousness they embody, are inwardly made. Inwardly they are made or else remade. Made or else remade in the divine image. So this is the condition. We have to lead the internal life. We have to, this metamorphosis, that falsehood must be transformed into the truth of God. Falsehood of our ignorant nature must be transformed into the truth of God. And who live in the truth, supreme truth consciousness and embody this supreme truth consciousness are inwardly made or else remade in the divine image. Then we will come for the couple of terms they are necessary for this divinization. One is known as divine love. One must be divine oneself before one can bear the pressure of divine love. The pressure of divine love is not that much soft or that much light what we expect or what we imagine. So Sri Aurobindo quotes here, one must be divine oneself. One must be divine oneself before one can bear the pressure of the divine love. Before bearing the pressure of the divine love, so one must be divine oneself. It is the required condition. Then comes the divine master. The divine, even as the master, does not punish anybody. There is no question of punishment because all the incarnation avatars have come still now up to Sri Krishna. They had the principle of slaying, they of killing, destroying. But here in this last avatar, the supramental avatar, Mother and Sri Aurobindo, they don't accept the idea of slaying or killing or destroying, the idea of transforming all into the divine, into their original divinity. This is the sole object of their arrival and their manifestation or their descent. Though here Sri Aurobindo speaks of the divine, even as the master does not punish anybody, as a master does not punish anybody, does not threaten, does not force obedience, asks nothing. He has given complete freedom to the entire humanity, entire sadhakas, entire world, entire race, complete freedom. Does not threaten, not use force of obedience, does not force obedience or nor punish anybody. The master of the work does not reveal himself at once to the seeker. So it is things are concealed. In being wrapped up, he is guiding the process. He is carrying out these sadhakas to their or people or the race of the world towards the divinity's height, but being revealed, being hidden, being concealed. The master of the work does not reveal himself at once to the seeker. Then next one is coming, divine universal. So we have seen couple of terms we have already listened, we have already accepted. That is actually what is divine. Second one is divinization. Third one is it is coming actually divine love. Fourth one is divine master. Then it comes the divine universal. The divine we adore is not only a remote extracosmic reality. The divine whom we adore is not only a remote extracosmic reality, but a half-veiled manifestation present and near to us here in the universe. They have not come from the extra cosmic reality. whom the divine whom I adore. But he is a half-veiled manifestation. Here, half-veiled. Why? Completely he was in the veiled position. Now itself he is coming out because the world is in the process of evolutionary process, evolutionary change. It has stepped up. It has been lifted up to a certain consciousness, to a from the near lower level to a higher level. It is going on. Of course, it is in the intermediary stage, in the interval, in the middle position. A half-veiled manifestation present and near to us here in the universe. Here it is present, it is there. Then next term comes divine will. When the mind is pure and psychic is prominent, one can feel what is according to the divine will and what is against it. Sometimes we ask how can we be able to know what is the divine will, what is against it, if it is actually, if at all the divine wills it, if it is there is a purpose between the divines, if there is a divine purpose behind our work or thought, how can we able to how can we be able to know it? Sri Aurobindo explains here, when the mind is pure, the purity of mind is essential, and the second is the prominency of psychic. Psychic must be prominent. Then, if the mind, when the mind is pure and the psychic is prominent, then one feel what is according to divine will and what is against it. Then next on divine will, Sri Aurobindo quotes another way, where the divine wills is always the best, well, always for the best. Divine wills only for the best and always for the best, not for a one or two times or for a short timer. It is he works. His divine wills is where the divine wills is always for the best, even when the mind does not see how it is, because mind, it is actually at the lowest form of the supramental, so supermind. So it is almost accepting the lowest concepts, the reasons, the perversions. So with reason it grows, it can't see the properly what is the divine will, but thing is that what divine wills is for the best of man. Then another term comes actually divine working. Our limitations and distortions are our contribution to his working. The true power is in it is the divine. We have our limitation. We just help. That's why the message is there. The world is preparing for a big change. Will you help? We have just to give the consent. I must save earth if earth consents to be saved. These are the things the divine asks us, mother asks us, if we are ready to give the consent, because everything will be done by them. Nothing for our ego to be considered, because Sri Aurobindo has already clarified. Although his ego claims the world for his own use, ego always claims everything is done for me and all by me, everything, it is entirely I am centered around. But man is a dynamo in the cosmic work. It has very short things to be done, like dynamo to a short range of light, it will focus a short range. Then how the world is going on, how the things are done. Nature does most in him, God the highest. Most of the things are done by the capital N, nature, higher nature. And where there is actually cessation of the nature's work, then God descends and work here. The divine working uses error in order to arrive at the truth. Uses error in order to arrive at the truth. Suffering in order to arrive at bliss, imperfection in order to arrive at the perfection. So who can understand what is the purpose behind the divine's will? So finally we will take for the divine and human. To the materialist, he disguises himself in matter, and for the nihilist, he waits ambushed in the bosom of annihilation. This is the difference between for the human divine work. It is the divine working. If the divine were not in you, you would never know the divine. So the divine life, finally, a divine life must be first and foremost an inner life. Nothing external is there. It is a inner life. It is the divination of life. It is a journey. Thank you.